What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. Real quick little interlude here amid all the football stuff to briefly talk about the Mariners because the trade deadline was yesterday and the team did make a handful of moves. There was a decent amount of action around the MLB in general, and I usually only talk about the Mariners once every couple weeks, but I want to quickly talk about the trade deadline and what went down and what didn't go down for the Mariners. Pretty simple, honestly. They made one big move, and then everything else was kind of just window dressing. But the big move is, in my estimation, pretty good. They sent Paul Sewald to the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they got three players back. They got Rojas, they got Bless, and they got Canzone. I keep wanting to say Calzone, but anyway, they got three hitters. Rojas is kind of a whatever player. He's capable of being an MLB caliber bat, but that's really about it. He's kind of like maybe he'll be about as good as Abraham Toro or somebody like that. I'm not expecting anything beyond that. Canzone's nice. I like Canzone. And Bless is a very intriguing AAA prospect, probably not going to be called up this year. That's my rough general initial impression of the deal. I don't know a ton about those three players, but from what I can tell, we got two bats that are going to help now and later because they've got good club control. And you do need players like Rojas. You don't need every player on your team to be some elite hitter. Problem is, we've got a lot of players that are kind of like Rojas. And I like Canzone and I like Bless, but obviously not until next year. So that was the big one. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be very unhappy about giving up Sewald, but when you take a look at the big picture here, I think it was probably the right thing to do. It wasn't a dream haul, but it was a good haul. And at the end of the day, you look at Sewald. He's a guy who was pitching pretty well for us last year, and then at the end of the season, we just completely lost faith in him to the point where we barely wanted to touch him at the end of the year. And then this year he comes back, he's pitching really well again. His value will never be higher, and you know you're probably not going to be able to keep him past 2024 because he's going to become a free agent, and if he keeps pitching like this, he's going to be worth a lot of money. So realistically, you weren't going to be able to keep him beyond next season, so you decided to cash in now, knowing, and this is the important part, this is why I think this is the right decision, a good decision. You trust your ability to develop batters. I'm sorry, bullpen pitchers. I don't know why I said batters, but bullpen pitchers because you've been doing it well for years. We've consistently managed to put together a quality bullpen in Seattle, regardless of who we lose from the previous season. Um, I think that putting your faith in your ability to put together a quality bullpen, even when losing your best guys, that's fair. You've got to use your advantages to your advantage. You've got to use what you're good at to your advantage. And you look at the bullpen now, you've gotten shockingly good years out of guys like Topa and Spear, and you're also getting some good play from Saucedo right now, which I don't know if that's going to stand or not. The main issue with this trade in the short term is that Munoz is not pitching well. Munoz looks kind of bad, and now you're going to lean on him heavily. But obviously, this trade is being done with 2023 as kind of you're not throwing 2023 away yet, but this is a trade done with 2024 and beyond in mind. So if we end up losing a couple more games this year in the ninth inning because we don't have Sewald, then obviously that's unfortunate, but that's something we're willing to live with. We're going to hope that the bullpen that we have is going to be good enough. And you are getting good play out of enough bullpen arms to where it's within the realm of possibility that you don't end up really getting docked because of the lack of Sewald. Brash is pitching really well lately. He's become a guy you can turn to for three or even four or five outs lately, it seems like. And you combine that with what you're getting from Topa, Spear, Saucedo, and it's reasonable. It's reasonable that this can work out. You're going to give some younger guys a little bit of a chance as well. Yesterday we saw Campbell get not a save, but he was able to close the game out. It's going to be a little dicey, but it's reasonable to say that hey, we got 60 games left or so this season. maybe have not having Sewald won't really cost us that much beyond what we would have gotten anyway. So it's good for the long term prospects of this team. I like the bats that we got, but obviously Sewald liked being a Mariner, and I liked having him. He was a great pitcher. I'm not here to act like he's bad. I'm not here to act like I'm glad he's gone. But we probably weren't going to keep him past 2024, and this is a guy we feel like we can replace despite his really high level of play. We've been doing it for years. Reasonable to think we can do it again. Honestly, we did it this year already. I did not trust our bullpen at all going into the season, and we were able to find guys I wasn't even really thinking of and get really good reps out of them. So that's the trade. It wasn't an amazing trade like some people were dreaming of, but it was a good trade. I support it. I like it. But if you were going to make that trade, should you have gone all the way with it and just flushed everything? And when I say everything, of course, I don't mean Julio, I don't mean Kelnick, I don't mean Cal. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the big ones being Teoscar and France. We've kept those guys. It is now well past the deadline, so it's not like there's going to be a buzzer beater. Both those guys are still here. Kind of interesting decision to move on from Sewald, but you keep both those guys. Now, France, I kind of understand, is just kind of bad right now, and maybe you couldn't get anything for him. And the odds of you getting a resurgent Ty France in the last couple months of the season is higher than you getting something valuable from a Ty France trade. I kind of get that. Although I was really hoping we could trade France because I'm pretty done with him. But Teoscar, now you can give him a qualifying offer. You can get draft picks back if he signs somewhere else, etc. It's not the end of the world to keep him and lose him at the end of the year, but there was probably going to be some kind of a market for a Teoscar trade, and we just couldn't make it happen. Reportedly, there were at least half a dozen teams that wanted him, and we seemed amenable to trading him, so it's kind of weird that nothing got done. I'm actually shocked that Teoscar is still here, here on August 2nd. So we're going to hope we can ride it out with him, hope we can get good stuff out of him. But the question is, if you were going to weaken the current team a little bit by dumping Sewald, then should you have gone all the way by dealing Teoscar and France as well? Maybe one or two other players. The other swaps that we made were of very minor significance. We traded Pollock and I think a minor leaguer to the Giants. Made a trade with, there was this one other trade with a couple of minor leaguers that I'm not really familiar with. We called up some guys to replace the guys we lost, but Colton Wong's been DFA'd. So it's all very, very insignificant stuff happening now. Well, after the Sewald trade, it was all very insignificant stuff. So we didn't really commit one way or the other. We've still got our lineup together. We've still got our starting rotation together. We've still got most of the bullpen. We've just weakened the team a little bit. And I don't know if those moves were made with the plan of this team still going for the playoffs, but they still could. It's not like they've got a bunch of guys in their lineup now that are just wasting ABs. The guy you called up recently because Kelnick got hurt, Cade Marlowe, he's not wasting ABs up there. He's playing really well. You are getting good at-bats from guys like him and Murphy and Crawford is still playing the best baseball he's ever played. Like, you are getting enough to where you can dream of a playoff run 3.5 back with almost 60 games remaining. But if you were going to deal Sewald, should you have gone all the way? Let me know what you guys think. That's the trade deadline rundown from my perspective. I like the Sewald move well enough in a vacuum, but I can't shake the feeling that there were a couple other moves that this team needed to make that they simply didn't make because, I don't know. Because you saw in our division, everybody was really aggressive. The Angels went all in trying to make Ohtani happy, which I think is a terrible decision by them. I think that's a disaster. I think they're going to deeply regret this. You saw the Astros get Verlander, which absolutely disgusts me. I hate that. At the very least, it made their farm system like the worst in Major League Baseball. But yeah, I'm not happy about that at all. The Rangers got Scherzer. Or no, I'm sorry. Is it? Got it. Was it Scherzer? Whoever. Yeah, they got the pitcher. I think it's Scherzer. I think I got that name right. Sorry, I'm not as familiar with some of the baseball guys as I am other sports, which I'm actually cool with because he's not pitching well this year. That struck me as kind of a desperation move. So it makes sense for the Mariners to say, you know what, we're not going to be able to run this gauntlet. We're not going to be able to maneuver through this gauntlet. It's just not happening. We don't have enough. We don't have enough. And even if we made a couple of trades to make the team better in the present, we still wouldn't be good enough to make a run this year because the division's just pedal to the metal right now. Let's wait until next year when these teams having such bad farm systems is going to come back and ding them a little bit. But they should have gone maybe a little bit further. I don't know. I don't know what was out there, admittedly, but you can't tell me Teoscar wasn't worth something. That being said, we get to the end of the season, we can still get something for Teoscar, or just keep him, I guess. That's possible as well. But time will tell. Sewald trade, I'd say, was a good trade. And that's what we got. So we got a bunch of games left still. Nothing's over. The team played really well in July, admittedly. And the offense is starting to show some positive signs. But there's a lot of teams we got to get through. So we got to keep winning. It's going to take a lot of winning to give us a chance. Odds are very good that even a 88 or 90 win season won't cut it. All right. Catch you guys later. Go Mariners. Trade deadline's over, and our team is our team. See y'all later.